It is, but not with the C or the Book of Evidence. And who the hell is Janet Hyen? Des set himself an impossible task. A wise woman, his mother, said to him, "You're going to make someone unhappy." So bloody right she is. A lot of us are unhappy. But seriously, it's an interesting and brilliant idea. And it's not the 101 best Irish books, obviously. Okay, your next book. It's an exercise guaranteed to arouse controversy and curiosity and challenge. And you gather, I'd understand if we asked each of you here to nominate your 101 books, Irish books you must read, you might have an amazing selection. And there'll probably be very, very little agreement among us all.
Conversation.
As Des says in the introduction, for no two individuals is the reading experience the same. There are books here that span 2 centuries. There are books that are forgotten about, unheard of, unavailable, annoying books, and books demanding a second reading. That's the great thing about lists and personal choices. They stir things up. It's like picking the top 50 films. You picked the top 50 films and you left out The Apartment? Or that's your greatest ever Gaelic football team and you left out Stockwell? So there are 2 criteria he's taken: a good story and a writer able to tell it. So just in case you didn't notice the small print at the bottom of your invitation, there'll be a little exam at the end of the evening. 101 questions, and you won't be allowed out until you pass. 40%. So I've had a sneak look at the paper, and I'll give you a few teaser questions to make it easier. Who wrote the all of it? Number 1. Number 2, which writer, quote, spent literally her last shilling in a second-hand bookshop in Galway? Number 3, in which book will you meet on Vasa, Vologok, Hologok, Haifshak, Chamak, Hologok, Veligak, Gaibdak? That's a great line when you want to clear your throat. Number 4, which book opens with the line, "My grandmother made dyeing her life's work"? And number 5, who lived in the townland of Carrignacake, in the district of Inchigeely, in the parish of Iglery, in the county of Cork, in the province of Munster? And I guarantee you the remaining 96 questions are much harder. But seriously again, well, you might quibble with the selection, and I of course do. There is great stuff here, and there's no posing. It's simply a love of books from a man who, quote, grew up in a household that was sustained by the twin pulses of books and love, as Des beautifully puts it. So this book can be a springboard from which you can dive into diverse pools and depths. It can be a cookery book through which you can indulge in wide-ranging menus and tastes, or an atlas which will lead you on a journey of discovery. At the very worst, it can serve you as a bluffer's guide. Oh yes, I've read the C in the Book of Evidence, but Banville's best for me is Birchwood. You haven't heard of Birchwood, no? And there's a person, unlike Albert Reynolds, he's a 2-page man, not a 1-page man. 2 pages to every book, just enough to whet your appetite. And even in those 2 pages, there are lovely little anecdotes. Like this: during father's final illness, mother's bedtime reading was waiting for Godot. Another one: the 2 lads who arrived in the shop in 1972 with their respective first books, a novel and a short story collection, and were delighted when mother bought the entire 20 copies they brought. And the 2 lads were Neil Jordan and Desmond Hogan. The American who had no cash and had to be persuaded to write a check for $12, he wrote it eventually and signed it William Randolph Hearst. And of course Des has his own quirky style. For example, this novel, Thy Tears Might Cease, is a glorious pain in the ass. Or again, the atmosphere of this book, my old friend Never No More, is so wholesome that reading it is like having your hands in a bowl of flour. And especially this one. Sean O'Faolain was probably the best fullback of the 20th century Irish book world. Well, this set me off in a train of thought. The literary all-stars. In goal, Monaghan's P. Kavanagh, smoking a fag. Where's me cap? The bloody sun has me blinded. Go to O'Faolain, go and gut that full forward. At centre-back, the Colossus of Tyrone, genial Ben Kiley. A true gentleman and probably the most decent man that ever pulled on a pair of tongs. At centre field, the tall, elegant Corkman, F. O'Connor, swanning around regally. At full forward, the Jimmy Keaveney-esque figure of Brendan Behan, given out to all and sundry. Ah, but Jazz, Cycler Colonel, will you stop pouncing about and send in the bloody ball or I'm off for a point? Corner forward, a knacky little Donegal man, P. O'Donnell, who claims they're all starved of the ball out in the left wing. And centre half forward, the stylish Galwegian, L. O'Flaherty, who can be temperamental and likely to knock the notebook out of the referee's hand. Enough. This book is a celebration of Irish story, of the writers who gave us the stories, and of the publishers who made it possible. And on that count, I was delighted, as I'm sure Joel agreed, to see the reference to Philip MacDermott as, quote, that unsung hero of Irish publishing. He gave me my start, published my first 5 books, none of which, of course, are in this. And by the way, in case you're worried about the... but in case you're worried about the little quiz, all of it was written by Janet Hyan, as in, who the hell is Janet Hyan? The writer has spent literally her last shilling in a second-hand bookshop in Galway was?
Kate O'Brien.
No. Ethel Mannon.
Oh.
On Vosag, Volgok, Hologok, Heidshop, Hammock, Hologok, Renegade, Lavdom. Was to be found in Court Van Ihe, the Amazon. My grandmother made dying her life's work is the opening line of Home Before Night. And in the townland of, if you don't get this now, you'll all be stuck here for the townland of Garrynapeaka in the district of Inchigean and the parish of Iberia in the country of Cork and the province of Munster lived. Well, you just made it. And must say, I cannot finish, you'll be glad to know I'm about to finish, without mentioning the dedication in this book. It's easily the most beautiful dedication I've come across. And it reads, in Kate O'Brien's Without My Cloak, as Molly Considine is dressing for an important dinner party, Anthony, her husband, says to her, you must be the loveliest woman in Christendom this night. I've never looked on anyone so beautiful. Des says, Anthony Considine was wrong. My wife Anne is the most beautiful woman in Christendom, and to her beauty, to her steadfastness, to her absolute refusal to be anything else but that which she is, I dedicate this book. That's choice. There's neither rhyme nor reason to it, but buy it, read it, argue over it, and above all, enjoy it. And watch out for volume 2, I might be in this.
I want to add my congratulations to Des for this wonderful shop. I already wanted to buy at least 12 books.
Oh, good.
I did. Whether I will buy any of them tonight, I don't know. I'll be sending for them later on. All sorts of things that even, I'm sure John will find in Nevermore here. The book was robbed from him, which is a very nice book. I like it very much myself. Now, I didn't always agree with Des about his selection. In fact, one book that John mentioned several times, I would not have it in the book, and I won't tell you which one it is. But Des knows which one it is. No. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And many books, you know, many of the books Des chose, I really love them. And in fact, in Cork, we have already reprinted a book that was out of print that Des has in his selection, and that is Hungry for Home, Colin Morton's book about that. Which is a wonderful space, Des, a wonderful rebirth, a baby and a rebirth at the same time. Here, a new baby and a new baby. So, Congratulations on the shop and the book, and talk to the people yourself now.
I don't know what to say after John. I mean, what can you say after John? Except to say thank you. And there is a
say sorry.
That's all right. When I did write this book, I did say that it would start conversations. It obviously has already. And that's what it's about. It's about the book. As Ben Kiley said when we launched this, Nothing Happens in Carmen Cross, I can't talk about the book. It's there. It speaks for itself. Or to the people who will read it, however they take it, is nothing I can really do about that. What it really is, I think, is